Hi guys, and welcome to this edition of the Unofficial Community Manager's Diary. Now first of all, I just want to say apologies for not managing to get the diary out yesterday, Friday. As many of you know, I was travelling back to the UK this week on Wednesday and Thursday and just did not have the time to get it done yesterday, especially with the build up to the release of Kim and Carson's big video. And if you've not seen that, please have a look at the description for this video and the link to it is in there. The title is Warning Sharks Ahead. Now normally what I do is I'll take one question from last week, read it out, answer it, and that person gets a copy of Interstellar Marines. But there's been so many fantastic questions from last week, I'm going to take 3 this week, answer all of them, and all 3 of those people are going to get a copy of Interstellar Marines. So let's see what the questions were. The first one is from XP Wi-Fi, and his or her question is: why is Mia studying the forums? What impact do we want it to have on the game? And what is she going to do with the community? Mia is an intern and she's spending 8 weeks with us, basically as knowledge transfer. So she teaches us things that she knows, we teach her things that we know. And part of the whole thing of ZPS and Interstellar Marines is the community, and that was the first thing that she looked at. So what she's doing is studying you guys to see from a communication point of view how we can help you better. So if you ask certain questions, how if we can answer them better ourselves. She's looking at Karsten and Bolzer and I's performance to see if we're doing a good job. But from a broader perspective, she's also looking at everything within ZPS. So for example, like I mentioned last time, why would an alien attack somebody on contact, or why would they talk to somebody on contact? So she's looking at all the different things behind the story, behind anything that is related to what her discipline is, which is anthropology. So that's what Mia's doing. It's a very generalist thing. It's almost as you just, I was going to say poking her nose into everything, but that doesn't quite come across right. But she's basically looking at anywhere that she can help and anywhere that we can help her with knowledge transfer and just getting involved and seeing what happens. Second question is from Boris Antelov, and Boris asks, he's interested in the game engine and how it will be optimized. He's considering buying, but is worried that we'll have problems with optimization as we're going forward with the game. Now there's 2 answers to that. The first answer is that the game engine is Unity, currently Unity version 4.2. So Unity themselves do a lot of optimization because they build the engine. The second part of the answer is we have to do optimization ourselves. So things such as shadows, things such as lighting, and we do a lot of things with lighting. Unity does have some difficulties when it comes to lighting, which to get the kind of graphical fidelity that we want, we have to do some little tricks and little things in the background. As a result of these, occasionally you'll see things such as lights shining through the gun model, which we will fix in time, but it's not super duper priority at the moment. And that kind of thing happens because of the little tips and tricks we're having to do to get Unity to look as good as it does in Interstellar Marines. So optimization is an ongoing process. It always happens on every patch, on every update. And it's also an ongoing process from Unity's side as well to make sure that they deliver the fastest engine they can. So third question is from Muldi Muldani, and this is a good one. This is the hardest question, and I deliberately chose this because it is a hard question. Why can't we just tell you in which order updates will be released, and why can't we tell you when? The answer to this in a short version is we don't know. Now we have our broad plan, and if you've seen Kim and Carson's video, you'll now know what that is from now until the end of the year, and then from the end of the year until the end of 2014. And what we do from that is we drill down. We call that the helicopter view. We drill down from that and we say, right, so we want to do these blocks. So we want to have this done, and then this, and then this, and then this. And we know what that is, and we could probably share that with you. That wouldn't really be a problem. But that never stays as you plan. There's always something that changes. So to give you a quick example, you remember from last week, we had the issue with some idiot going on to one of our servers and spending 4 hours team killing. Now, all that did was made us realize that we need to prioritize this much higher to bring in a mechanic which makes sure that TKing is dealt with. And that's what we're doing. That wasn't in the plan for that particular update, but it was brought into that plan for that update simply because of that happenstance on a server. So we've reacted, excuse me, but because of that, that means that we've had to change what we're doing, and that's the reason why we generally don't tell you in advance what's coming. The other reason, of course, is we may aim to get something into an update, but if whether or not it gets in there is a different issue. It may be a super duper new feature that we're putting in, but if we find a bug at the last minute, we won't put it in, we'll take it out. Now that may delay that update for a day or two, or it may mean that that update's not released, or it may mean that that update is released without that feature. But these things change because programming and game development are an art form more than a science. So you cannot, it's not like you're building a house where you can say, right, well in 2 weeks we will have those walls up. It's not that simple. There are too many other factors in there that affect what happens. So, excellent question from Muldy Muldani there. Thank you for that. If you've got any questions like that, doesn't matter what they are. I actually have somewhere a list on Google Docs that is called 10 crap questions. And what we're intended on doing is giving these 10 crap questions. They are the most difficult questions that I feel that we can answer, and it's things like why can you not tell us what's coming, why is there no jump, why is this not in there. So it's what I consider to be the difficult questions, and at some point we're planning on doing a video where we actually answer those questions head on. Now whether Kim does that or I do that, I don't know yet, but we want to be as open as possible and tell you as much as possible, because we do work on a principle of open door development. So that's the questions for this week. It's gone over a bit longer than normal, but thank you for them. Thank you to everybody else who sent in questions as well. Absolutely brilliant to see them. I don't answer those questions on YouTube until the next video comes out, so that you don't know whose question is going to be answered in these videos. But again, please keep them coming. I really enjoy reading them and really enjoy answering them. And those 3 people are all going to get a copy of Interstellar Marines through YouTube. So let's move on to what this week's diary is all about. But first of all, gotta have a cup of tea. So this week, as I mentioned, I spent a couple of days in the UK. That was Wednesday, Thursday. Excuse me. And that was actually house hunting in Sheffield, which when it's sunny is actually quite a nice place to be. So came back early Friday morning, and yesterday, Friday, was the big build up to getting this video out that we've been talking about for so long. It's been, 10 days, 2 weeks or so now. We've been working on this. So Kim and Kosh are in the video. A gentleman called Jonas has done the editing for it, and Jonas, if you're watching this video, kick-ass job, mate. Absolutely brilliant. So we wanted to get this out. The final video was ready Friday morning, Thursday night. We wanted to get it out Friday night, but also we wanted to do a bit of streaming. So Carson said he was going to do some streaming at 7 o'clock European time, so 1 o'clock Eastern time on the US. And I said, right, fair enough, I'll just put up a quick post on Facebook that says you're going to be streaming. And we got a couple of negative comments to that Facebook post, and it actually made me sit down and think. One of the, as a community manager, well, what you do is in the title, you manage the community. You manage the expectations of the community as well. And it's very important for me personally, and very important for ZPS as a company, to make sure that we're giving you accurate information, even if that information is something you don't want to hear. For example, everybody would like to hear, yes, the game will be finished by December, but it's wrong, it's false. The truth is that the first part of the campaign, so the first complete part of Interstellar Marines, will be ready by the end of 2014. But we will have things in before. It's not December 31st, 2014 when you're going to get that stuff. Most of that you'll already have. But the majority of it, and the nice little finale which Kim's planning, will be towards the end of 2014. And I'm very aware, and this is one of my personal things, that we're still within what I like to call the honeymoon period of working with the community, you guys. And that means that you guys are still very pumped up for the game. You are looking at the things that we're doing and saying, yeah, oh, that's going to be absolute magic. As time goes on, we know that we're in a period now where it seems almost as if we're running really hard and not actually getting anywhere. Because we're doing things such as hiring people, which is not a quick process. We have there was 2 interviews this week with potential game developers. So you've got to go through the whole process of getting all, posting the jobs, getting the CVs in, looking through the CVs, then the interviews, then you got to do coding samples, then you got to see if you work with a team, and then you've got to actually hope you've got the right person. It's not a slow process, and it takes away from game development. But once it's done, it brings in more speed. We get things done quicker, so we may lose a few weeks here, but we gain months later on. And we're in that process and that period at the moment where, although we've released 4 updates, even to us it still feels a bit like we're running really hard but not getting very far. But once we get through this period, then you'll start to see things really move very quickly. So if that period is that long, then the concern that I personally have, and again I probably should say this, I always say this every video, these are my personal videos, these are not ZPS videos. They are my personal opinions, they are not ZPS's opinions. And I know if you spent, now I'm at 11 minutes and 33 seconds on this video, I always aim for 5 minutes. If you're watching this and you've got this far, then you're the kind of person that I want to be talking to, because you're mature and you're intelligent enough to understand that these are my personal thoughts. So if this is the period that we're going to be going through, in terms of the amount of time it takes to really ramp up the team and then put the foot down, my personal worry, and I had a chat to Carson about this yesterday, is the honeymoon period, the period where you guys are still really pumped up and supporting us, is less. And we have to be completely honest and upfront and open with you guys about when things are going to come. We can't say, yes, we'll have the first stage of co-op by November, when realistically the first stage of co-op is going to be 4 to 6 months after that. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm asking you to bear with us during this period where we're ramping up, where we're putting everything in place for the game to really start to develop really quickly, where we're getting the right people, and we can hire somebody in a day, but he's probably or she's probably going to be wrong. We need to be hiring the right people, and that takes time. We need to be getting the right things in place, and that takes time. But this is a period when it looks like there's not much coming out. So please bear with us during this period. We are using your money and putting your money to very good use and being very careful on how your money is spent. But please give it, we're probably looking more mid to end of October before you start seeing realistic things such as the movement mechanics start to change, and things like jump and crouch. By the end of October, I'd guess, once Ronnie has got himself in and he's done his work on the character controller, and then once that's done, he moves across to things like jump, crouch, running animations. You are looking mid to end of October at a rough guess on that. So that would be that would tie in also with getting the new devs on board, ramping them up, and getting to the point where the team is together and working and all motoring forward. During this, that's what, a month and a half away from here. During this time, we will still have updates, don't get me wrong. We've changed the way that we do updates. We're not doing them on Fridays now, because with the last Friday update, we introduced a bug, which meant working on that on Saturday, and it wasn't a good solution for you guys. So most updates now will be done on a Wednesday, and there will generally be about a 3 to 4 week gap between major updates. But if we need to do a smaller update, for example the anti-TK measure, or a bug's been introduced, or a service update, then we'll do them in between the major content updates. And yeah, that actually brings me around to Michael as well, because as you may know, Mike, at the moment the only programmer that we have, the only coder we have, is Michael, and he's been ill for the best part of the last 2 to 3 weeks, and that, at this stage of ramping up the team, that really hurts us, because that means no one's coding during that period. Kim's still working on his stuff. Yes, he's working on his stuff, and everyone else, Reese, is working on his stuff. But the coding isn't being done. So we've had to realistically, we're going to have to delay the patch, the update we were expecting to bring out on the 11th, which I think is Wednesday of next week. That's going to be delayed because of Michael's illness. Now, in 2 months' time, that'll be much less of an issue because we will have baby Michaels. We'll have little wee programmers that can take up the slack if Michael's ill or if somebody else is ill. But right now, we don't have that. And that has also meant that, again, a lot of running in place for relatively little benefit that you guys can see. And yeah, so I guess really what I want to say, just to say it again, is bear with us. We know that it looks like there's not a lot of the really big fun stuff coming out. It will come. Just please give us a breathing space to do this job properly, to get the right team together, because when that's done, the benefits to you and the benefits to the game of making this incredible game will be manifest. And in advance, thank you for that. So I'm going to sign off on this video. It has once again significantly passed 5 minutes, and I think I'm just going to get rid of that timeline for 5 minutes. I appreciate the fact that several of you responded back on YouTube and said that yes, you like the videos, yes, you like the timing, you like the format and everything else. Thank you very much. If you do have any comments on the video, the format and the way that I do this kind of thing, just please let me know. It can evolve, it doesn't have to stay static, and it's something that I'm always looking for feedback on. I appreciate listening to one guy for 15-20 minutes can be a bit boring, so any way I can make it a bit more interesting, do let me know. I'll do the same as I always do with next week, so I'll take one, or if there's lots of questions, 3 questions from this week's video. I'll answer them next week, and the people who get their answer read out and answered, you will get a copy of Interstellar Marine. So please do take the time, if you've got a question, to post it up in the comments section of the YouTube video. So that's it for this week. As always, appreciate your time for listening, appreciate your time for watching. Go and enjoy the game. Thank you for being along on the ride, and as always, enjoy your gaming.